Let's try again. Hold on. Okay. Maybe this one's working. I do not know. Okay. It says I'm live. We'll find out. Can you see me? There she is. Okay. Yay! I was so afraid this wasn't going to work.
Same.
And you do look beautiful. I wasn't lying. Okay. Because it said I was live, but you weren't seeing it, and I'm like, I don't know.
Well,
Okay.
and admittedly, that's probably my fault because I tend to turn off live notifications because so many of the pages go live and I just don't have time to watch all the videos.
And that's why I just tagged you into the thing, so hopefully it would get your attention.
Yeah, I just had to
Okay.
come to your page and then I could see it.
Okay.
So,
Thank you for joining us on Friday with the Library in the Blue Box. Lovely, lovely lady. Okay, let's get started. Hey guys, thank you for coming. In honor of Poetry Month, we are going to interview one of my favorite poets, Patricia Harris. She writes children's books. She writes beautiful poetry that has made me cry. She's very good at that with her poetry. And my kid is obsessed with her Pip the Dog series. I have read the first two so many times, I have lost count. So that is the biggest compliment my kid can give you. He's like 2. He
that is
doesn't
a
know how to
huge
say
compliment.
anything, but please more.
That is a very huge compliment.
Okay. This is lovely Patricia Harris. She is a dreamer, a crafter, a gamer, digital artist who loves creativity in life, and she doesn't mind joining in on my kids' drawing prompts, which that makes her so happy. She does happy dances every time she sees your art. A hat. She is a half-mad poet. Her writing is found all over social media and various other websites. I think I got them all posted uh, in the comments.
Yeah.
Including Coffee House Writers. I don't have that one, but it is tagged on
Well,
my
that's
phone. But
because I'm actually no longer writing for them. I've changed my I didn't even notice it. You've got the older bio here. I changed it recently, but it still works. It's just I don't write for Coffee House anymore because it got to where I was burning out very quickly.
okay,
I would love to write for them some more, but I can't juggle them and everything else. So I
that
had
is
to make a
so
choice.
hard right now. That is juggling is not easy. She is a devoted mom to a wonderful daughter, and she can be found doing a variety of art when she isn't penning poetry and writing words. She is half of the indie publishing company Fay Core Publishing. Her collection of writings, including a memoir, children's books, and poetry. And you can find her in the sites I have listed below. So, is there anything you'd like to add before we start?
No, that the new bio basically just has a couple of minor additions, where I've taken out coffee house, and I'm actually no longer half of the publishing company. Bayport technically belongs to me,
Okay. Well,
but
I did send it to you first so you could help me with fixing the
yes, you
bio.
did. And to be honest, I looked it over and just promptly, it's fine. So that's
Alrighty.
entirely me. And that's typical for me.
Okay. Well, I'm just happy I get to see you today. Okay. I'm going to start with one of Cassie's questions. She wants to know how old you were when you first got inspired to write.
To be honest, I don't know. I know I've been writing poetry since I was 9 years old, but it seems
Okay.
like I was writing before that. I more or less decided somewhere around that time that I was going to write, regardless of whether I was good at it or not.
Hey,
That was
that
my
works.
thought at the time. So
That is Cassie's view,
yeah,
too.
you kind of have to have that view, especially when you're starting out, because nobody's good starting out.
Hmm.
Nobody's good starting out. You have to learn along the way what is good and what isn't, and how to work with what isn't to make it good.
Hmm.
And when you first start out, you don't know any of that. So, as far as I'm concerned, if you're not stubborn enough to keep going, no matter what anybody says about what you're writing, you're probably not going to make it as a writer.
Exactly. And that's how she feels about her art. She has looked up videos on how to do it better. She has looked at your stuff. And as soon as she probably figures out what the questions are, she'll probably want to ask you guys questions on how to get better at art. Can you adjust the camera so we see more than your nose and glasses?
I don't know if I can get.
There we go. Now we can see your beautiful face. Thank you. Okay. Um, what drew you into writing children's books?
Well, to be honest, my daughter. My daughter's always had nightmares, night terrors type thing, and she was when she was really little, she would ask me to tell her stories before bed because it helped her keep from having nightmares. I mean, it just was that simple. And all of the books started out as a story I told her. It was something to help her sleep. And
Mm-hmm.
then somewhere along the way, I decided, hey, I'm publishing my poetry. Why shouldn't I put these stories in a book form that she can have when I'm not here to tell the stories? Because it was my grandmother was a storyteller. That was all she did. She told amazing stories. I'm talking stories that everybody enjoyed. And
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved when she was gone to have that physical thing that, this is the story as she told it and not as my memory has made it, because we always change the story when we remember it versus when it's told.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to be around forever. That's just a fact. So I want her to have something, or my grandbabies to have something that was, mm, this is how I told it,
Mm-hmm.
not how they remember it. So I decided to go ahead and, put it in physical form, which worked, obviously.
And And I'm grateful I get to share your stories with my children. I appreciate that too. Um, are all of your poems autobiographical? That word is hard to
Sort of.
say.
That is hard to say. Words are hard. Um, some more than others. There's a couple of poems that I've wrote where the idea was more interesting, but it wasn't anything I had been through, but maybe something I had seen someone else go through, or something that I myself had given thought to, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
any sense.
Yes. Okay. What authors inspire you?
Um, this is going to sound really creepy, but Poe, um, Emily Dickinson, both are amazing poets, and um, not necessarily ones that I want to read all the time, but they're amazing poets. Ones
I
that I would
agree.
ones that I would want to read myself are different than ones that inspire. So,
Okay. I
um,
definitely love both of those.
well, I love reading them, but like I said, a steady diet of either, and you start going, ah, okay, my mind's in places it don't need to be.
Well, I don't read them all the time either. I just have them. I've used them for school projects and all types of stuff.
Same. Well, maybe not the school projects as much anymore, but
Well, whenever
there's
we
been
were in
some.
school, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, of course, Dante wants to know if there's going to be more Pip the Pup.
Well, the next one comes out. There was a hiccup, and the physical copy will come out like the 6th of May, but the actual ebook releases on the 29th.
Okay.
I screwed
I,
up and didn't get all the cover uploads done in time for it to release when it was supposed to. I just I blinked and April went by.
yeah, that's what's happened to me.
So I got it uploaded a day late, and the next time that Barnes and Noble would let me set it to release was the 6th. So
Okay.
the physical book is going to come out then. And then I'm hoping to write another one in that series. I'm not sure when it's going to get done, but I'm hoping to.
Okay. We're not rushing. We just need to get signed copies for the Dante.
We can do that. We can definitely do
Yay.
that. I actually, things have gone a little bit better for me than expected. So in June, I'm actually going to be able to get those copies and get them out to you.
He
I
will
just have not
appreciate
been
that
able.
because he will sit on the floor and flip through them. Oh, yeah. And his exact words were actually, more, please.
That tickles me beyond belief. I cannot tell you how much that tickles me.
That works because he is so far at 2. He has a small vocabulary, but he gets his point across.
Well, that's not a bad thing. Trust me. My youngest didn't start to talk until she was 2. So it definitely helps if they have at least some vocabulary.
Oh yeah. What is your favorite book that you have written so far?
Um, well, the answer to that is kind of twofold. My favorite poetry book is Pocket Full of Poetry, and the reason was because it was my first one,
Mm-hmm.
and you really don't get past your first one ever. The
Mm-hmm.
excitement of, oh my God, this is actually out. This is actually something you can buy. Oh my God, people can read. Oh, that's kind of scary. Um,
It is a wonderful book
but
and I love it.
as far as the kids' books, honestly, my favorite is The Princess Lost. And that one, it, I don't know, I like the story in it the best out of all of the kids' books.
Okay.
Although I like the character better in Dylan and the Pet Zombie. I like that character a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a second one of those written. I just got to get my illustrator to be capable of illustrating the second book.
Okay. Good luck and may
The
they find the ability.
Yeah, well, the pandemic sort of put her in a situation where she was having to take care of her grandparents, and it's made it to where she hasn't had the time to deal with doing the illustrations. So
That is
hopefully
hard.
she'll be able to soon.
But if you could hang out with any of the characters you've written, where would you go and what would you do?
You know, it's funny. I couldn't pick one. I really couldn't. Because Pip is a cute puppy. It's a smart puppy, and smart puppies are always fun. But
Mm-hmm.
then there's Nastara, the princess from The Princess Lost. She's just incredibly curious and so friendly. And then Dylan, he's so brave. And I like the character in Dylan a lot, but I'm not sure that I'd want to be where Dylan is, because while a Zombok is a lot of fun to imagine and a lot of fun to write about, it wouldn't be so much fun to live in.
No. I don't know. Well, that brings us to the next question. Borrowed from Kelly Lynn Colby, can zombies climb?
You know, I saw that, and I asked my daughter and I asked my boyfriend, because, I wasn't sure how to answer that one. My daughter, she said, depends on the world it's from, because, World War Z zombies kind of,
Well, how about we
they
narrow
could
it
climb.
down to your zombie world?
My zombie world, no, they couldn't climb. My zombie world is more akin to the old Romero movies. The zombies there. They're slow
Okay.
moving. They're not incredibly smart. They're not incredibly fast. They are avoidable. I like the idea of avoiding zombies.
I do too. It is a good idea. Okay. Coffee or tea?
Both.
Hey,
I
that works for me.
Well, I usually drink my tea cold, but I love my coffee. Um, Growing up, when I was little, I had a reaction to coffee, the bitterness in it, and I thought I was allergic because, and it killed me because I love the smell of coffee. Coffee smells amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But my mother, she jokes that she should have been a Brit because she drinks her tea hot and strong and
Mm-hmm.
adds cream. She drinks it much like most Americans drink their coffee.
Mm-hmm.
But my stepfather would have coffee, and I enjoyed the smell of it, but I couldn't drink it because it was too bitter. I would react to it. I'd get the hiccups. I'd have a visceral reaction. Well, I've been with my boyfriend since I was 21, and he's always been a coffee fellow. And he's, had me make him coffee since we got together, and we got in a conversation at one point, and he's like, "Why don't you ever drink coffee?" And I told him I think I'm allergic, and I explained it to him, and he goes, "So when's the last time you had coffee?" I said I was 9. He said, "How about we try it?" So he gave me coffee with sweetener and cream, and I've had a cup of coffee every day since. But I still love my iced tea, my sun tea, my herbal tea.
Me too. I make large gallons of herbal tea and just put it in the fridge.
Yeah, I, I'm not much of a water drinker, but I know I need it. So I get the little powders that you can add to the water,
Mm-hmm.
and I get them for the big jugs, and I get the peach tea flavor for that, and then um, I make herbal tea, and I make during the summer I make sun tea,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm afraid I've gotten my daughter on that kick. The only way she really enjoys coffee is when it's ice cold. She'll make iced coffee, but
Mm-hmm.
she's very fond of the loose leaf uh, teas, and we have little tea infusers that look like owls. We have a matched set.
That is so cool.
They're adorable. They really are. But she does. She loves her loose leaf teas, and um, I've got I've got chamomile in the house, but I react funny to it. It
Mm-hmm.
makes me hyper.
Okay.
Um, I got peppermint, and I got lemon something or other. I think it's a lemon ginger or a honey lemon, something like that. Chai tea is a big favorite in this house because even Joe
Mm-hmm.
likes chai. And
That is awesome.
then there's boba tea.
That
Which,
is
if you don't know what
definitely
boba
cool.
tea is, it's got little balls
The
made out
little,
of
yeah,
tapioca.
you can make that at home. Have you tried?
I have not, but then again, I've got a really good Asian market near me that sells them
Mm-hmm.
cheap. I mean, it's like $2 or $3 for a big old bag of boba, and
Mm-hmm.
I'd spend more than that on the tapioca plus the time it would take to make them. I just
True.
buy the tapioca balls and go with it from there. Although I suppose they're called pearls, but they're balls.
They're little tiny balls.
Yeah. And you soak them in a brown sugar syrup, and you add them to a milk tea, and it's good. So we
It
um
sounds wonderful.
it really is. Like I said, the Asian market near me is really good, and they sell them, and you can buy them on Amazon too. you don't want to leave them sit around the house too long, because we decided that they were cheap enough, we'd buy them up in bulk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went, we'd got to the last pack, and we'd had them for about 6 months because we bought them up in bulk ahead. And I opened it up, and the pearls are molded. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
So, taught me not to buy them in bulk. I buy them as I need
Yes,
them, and
because,
that's it.
okay, I didn't know. Thank you for teaching us, because I had no idea. Okay. What is your favorite food?
That one's really hard. I I have issues with food. A lot of it comes from the fact that I've always been a big girl, and being big scared my mother. She was terrified I was going to have a heart attack before I was 30. So she put a teenage me on every diet that she could find to try and get me to lose weight. And somewhere along the way, that made me dislike food. Then again, you know, I I was taught basically from an early age that food was to blame for why I was the way I was. And that's not a healthy way to think, ever.
No.
So,
I have thoughts that I'm not going to say on live about what I've read. So yeah. But yeah.
the foods I go to most often for, I'm feeling bad, and this is a day when I just want comfort food, tend to be
Mm-hmm.
mashed potatoes, tomato soup, or a good salad. And that there's a whole lot of other foods that I like. Um, Sorry,
It's fine.
my phone was messing. um, but like, we don't get to go out to eat very often, but when we do, like, we'll go to Little Caesars and get pizza, or um, McDonald's and get burgers. It's not necessarily my favorite thing, but that's, if we need to go out for whatever reason, that's the two that we end up getting the most.
Okay. Um, are you a plotter or a pantser?
Mostly a pantser. Um,
Okay.
the story tells me what's going to be written more than I tell it.
Okay.
Plotters tend to tell the story what they're going to write, and I don't do that. I'm just as interested in what's going to happen as everybody else.
That, yeah, we definitely love your stories. I'm gonna have to definitely ask about the Serena not Meadows, Musgraves interview later. Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Um, what drew you into publishing?
Um, I'm a control freak, or at least that's part of it. Anytime that
Okay.
I would put in my, anytime I would put my poetry in anywhere to get, along the line to get published, because there is you got to pay your dues kind of mentality. anytime I would put my stuff out there, I would get rejection notices, which everybody does, but I would get them. And then the ones I didn't get rejection notices on, I'd get these, oh, but you've got to buy the anthology to get in. And
Hmm.
that that felt like the scam it is. It really did. Um, and I always had this dream that I was going to publish, regardless of what happened. I was going to find a way to get my stuff published.
Yes.
And there's vanity presses back then. You know, you could pay to have somebody publish your stuff, but I didn't want to do that. It felt like that's not actually publishing, that's getting those little customized, put your name here kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it. Well, Amazon came out with the ability for somebody to publish their own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know what? That sounds like fun.
Oh yeah.
Then that was like 2010, I want to say, is when I published the first one. And I ended up joining this writing group or that writing group. And one of the writing groups, there was a thing that went through the group where we were all writing stories to put in an anthology that, you know, was supposed to be just fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the people in charge of the anthology, there was a big blow up, and I'm not sure what happened, but there was a fight, and they decided they didn't want to talk to Cindy for whatever reason. And because Cindy's my best friend at the time, still my friend, but you know, at the time me and her were tight, and there was no argument between us and nobody coming between us or anything like that. And I mean, we're still good, but it just, then there was no argument ever. Because of that, they decided that they didn't want to talk to me. And the anthology suddenly was, my story wasn't good enough. Okay, I get that. You know, stories get rejection. That's fine. But it was just all of that happened at once. And me and Cindy decided that we needed to do an anthology of our own, one that was a little less, you got to be friends with this person or that person to get into it. So we got 6 of us together that
Mm-hmm.
were, you know, we were all friends. And well, it was kind of everybody was wanting to write, but nobody else wanted the responsibility of putting it together and putting it up on Amazon or wherever. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
That was Under the Mist. And we decided, Cindy and I, that we needed a name for the publishing company because, you know, 6 friends deciding to write an anthology doesn't sound like a good name.
Mm-hmm. I love the
So,
name though.
well, and I think Cindy always kind of had a um, misunderstanding of why the name. The idea behind it was, um, a group of soldiers is called a corps. A
Mhm.
The AmeriCorps or the Peace Corps are a group of
Mhm.
non-combatants. Well, that's, three different versions of what a corps can be. The Salvation Army is considered a corps
Mhm.
of faith-based warriors. Well, what's to say that the fairies can't have a corps of fairies?
Mhm.
That's the idea behind it. And when I tried to explain that to her, she got confused and said, I guess it's because I was in the military? Oh, no, I'm sorry, honey, but that's not what the idea was from. Oh, I thought it sounded interesting. It sounded different.
Yeah, it does. It sounds wonderful. I really like it. Um, okay, what are your goals in the future?
Well, it, this is going to sound bad, but same stuff, different day.
Okay,
I've got,
SSDD.
yeah, I've got this month coming, of course, in the next month, there's going to be um, the third PIP, then Gathering Teardrops is coming out, which is the next poetry book. And then at the end of May, the 1st of June is going to see two anthology releases, Seeking Stories and A Grandmother's Wisdom. A Grandmother's Wisdom, we are in agreement to donate, it was, what was it, 50% of the author royalties. I was told I have to be very specific in how I say that. But the money that we take in from Grandmother's Wisdom, 50% of that is going to go to No Kid Hungry.
Mhm.
Um, which we've never done before. This is the first time we've done a charity anthology at all. So I've been in contact with No Kid Hungry, figuring out how I'm supposed to do that, because that's a whole new thing. Then in June, there's also a novella coming out from one of our authors, and there's dotted throughout all of the year various books that are supposed to be released. In June, also, Serena's poetry book is coming out, because that's been done. And then in October, we got another release for another anthology. We've got
Mhm.
another book by Ashira. I'm wanting to say her name is Dathia, but I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right.
Mhm.
I can spell it, but saying it, I've never heard it said out loud. So we are again in December going to do a Kids Week. We like doing that. That turned out well. And I'm hoping that Serena finishes one of the books she's working on by the end of the year. There's a couple of other people that are supposed to be getting me books to release sometime this year. A lot of what I'm planning is just to keep going, keep doing. It doesn't sound like much of a goal, really, but it is.
It's a good goal.
I would like, I've got all of the setup to, my mother bought me the microphone needed to do audiobooks a couple of years ago for my birthday, and I tried to hook it up to my phone and had no luck because it wanted to record it in a way that was not enough for the audiobook place. So I've got my computer, I just haven't, since I got my computer, had the time and energy to sit down and see about recording these books for audiobook purposes. Because I'm going to do both mine and Serena's that way. It is a bit of a far off goal, but it is there. I mean, like I said, the basics of it is I plan on just keep doing what I've been doing.
Okay. What is your favorite outlet to do art? Digital, pen, paper? Any?
That entirely depends on the type of art I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I like doing the abstracts better digital. I like doing the landscapes a little bit better digital because it feels like I have more control on the broad strokes in digital.
Mm-hmm.
But I like doing the more detailed work with pencil and paper. I like painting when I have the canvases to do it. I'm not as fond of watercolor because I'm not as in control of it.
Mm-hmm.
It requires a different set of controls. And I don't feel like I'm as in control with it. But I do like doing it on occasion because it's kind of soft and vague, the images you create with it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas acrylics are very harsh. Digital, in a lot of ways, I can do digital when I'm out and about. I've got an art program on my phone that I do a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the various arts on.
Can you share it with me?
Whereas,
Send me the link.
yeah, I can do that. It's a $5
Okay.
app to get the actual app. The app does have a free version, but you don't get all the little tools and such with the free version. It's called
Okay.
Art Rage. I'll send you a link to that.
Okay. Cassie's definitely worth the $5.
Oh yeah, she will love it. And but the first time I shared it with someone, I failed to inform them that it was a app that cost. You know, I just didn't think about it at the time, and they were like, "Oh my God, this is like $5." I was like, "Yeah," because I found that I liked it well enough to, and apparently they have a actual software. That's going to be fun. But I said I liked it well enough to actually pay the $5 for it.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. Definitely gonna have to get it. Um, what series are you most into reading or watching right now? Or both?
um, watching, I am currently rewatching Fairy Tale, which, if you don't know what that is, it is
Oh, I know exactly what
a
that is. That is a great show.
it is a great show,
We have
and
a little happy that Dante has stolen.
um, I also have a serious thing for Picard and a serious thing for Outlander, both for different reasons.
Okay.
Um, I've heard a few people complaining about Picard because it changes the character that was set up by the next generation.
Mhm.
He becomes a shaky and more angry person.
Mhm.
But the thing is, when you age, that's something you do.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of people don't think about that. They set it up in Star Trek The Next Gen that he had mental issues, a disease that was setting in on the brain. So all they did
Mhm.
with Picard is continue that. I like how they've done with it. I like the fact that they've brought in some of the older characters, and I like the general direction that that has gone in. So it's kind of nostalgia for me because I love the next gen. I had a serious crush on Will Wheaton when I was a girl. I still do, but
Hey. Yes, I've been collecting his books. I definitely can say the same thing.
well, and I watch I watch his actor show on YouTube a lot because um, that is just amazing for me. Um, and Outlander is just I enjoyed reading the books, and I think they did a very wonderful job with
Mhm.
casting the characters. So watching the show is basically me getting to see the books come alive. I don't
Mhm.
usually say that because a lot of the programs based on books will irritate me because they leave so much out or
Mhm.
they change things that shouldn't be changed.
Yeah.
Um, but I think Outlander has done a wonderful job. They don't leave out major points, they leave out minor ones. And the minor ones that they leave out, I can see in my mind because the books are still fresh in my mind.
Mhm.
Part of that was because Outlander is one of the few splurges I have made recently because her latest book in that series just came out like
Mhm.
November. Um, Admittedly, for the last 2 years, I haven't had money to buy anything new just because I was paying all the bills and he was working on getting his disability. And so I've had to be extra frugal because we haven't had any extra money. We've been half paying bills.
Mhm.
And that it, it means that, the one book I buy has got to be something amazing. And
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking forward to that one for a while.
Oh yeah.
Um, I get into slumps with reading. So the reading end of it, I'm kind of in between a series right now. I'm not reading anything.
Yeah.
I need to pick up. I've got several in my to be read file that need to happen, but um, usually about the last half of the year, I decide, you know what? I should have been reading. I miss reading. I've got time. Why in the hell am I not reading? So, uh, last year I went through several Nora Roberts books, her J.D. Robb books, all of them. Um, the whole series by Jacqueline Carey, her Angel series, the one that
Mm-hmm.
has the Phaedra and her line, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I went through all of Laurel K. Hamilton's Anita Blake series because
Mm-hmm.
I do that periodically. And I'm not really into reverse harems generally, but her books are really good. Um,
That they are.
I mean, I tend to get into, like I said, bits. I'll probably here in a couple days pick up my Kindle and go, what have I got on here? This looks good. And then I'll spend a week and go through 10 to 20 books because it's not unusual for me to go through a book a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll go a month or two before I realize I need to read again. And I mean, it's bad, but I have been a super ravenous reader my whole life. My
Mm-hmm.
family always knew. Sorry. My family
No
always knew
problems.
that if they wanted to get me a present, the best thing they could get me was a book.
Yes.
So, and that means that, I I mean, like a couple of years ago, my brother decided, what's the best thing to get an author? A nice edition of an old book. So he got me a pretty edition of Frankenstein. It's a book I've read 1,000 times, but I got a pretty new edition, so I had to reread it.
I had to do the same for
Um,
Sophia. I had to get her a pretty edition of Frankenstein.
well, and it's a good book. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
it's just like, okay, the new Star Wars movies that have come out, the last three. Um, I won't watch them. I watched the first of the three, got mad, and walked away.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother and I disagree on this one. He enjoyed those three. For me, I watched the first one and realized that they took it in a different direction than I really wanted them to because I had read the Admiral Thrawn books as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And I've reread them a couple of times since, but those books were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Those books were the books written with Lucas's permission.
Mm-hmm.
And those books felt like they followed the line of the original movie. They felt like this is the way it should go.
Yes.
But then Disney decided to completely ignore those books. That's not the
Mhm.
way they wanted Star Wars to go. So, in a lot of ways, it broke my heart because that's not how I feel like it should go.
Exactly.
My brother says I am uh, not giving them a chance because they should be enjoyed on their own merit. And while that's true,
He's asking you to look at them not as Star Wars, but as stories.
yeah. And as stories, they are not well written, and the characters were not well developed. And the characters that I actually liked, they basically took a shit on. I mean, excuse my
Mhm.
language, but so when it comes down to it, I'm not going to go and watch something that is going to break my heart. If I know
Mhm.
that it's not going to be to the quality I'm expecting the story to be, why should I
Mhm.
watch it?
Yes.
I have so very few times when I can sit down and watch shows. I really do. I'm very, very, very particular about what I watch because I have not a whole lot of time to watch. Because either I'm too busy or I'm dealing with somebody else and I can't exactly have volume up while I'm in, dealing with somebody else doing something else. Like I might be over there talking to my boyfriend. I'm not going to have my phone in front of me with volume up on whatever video. And, or I'm on a game, I've got the headset in. I can have a video playing while I'm on the game. But if I have the volume up, everybody's going to hear it through my headset.
Yeah.
So I have to take into account the people that I'm dealing with in other aspects of my life. And that means I'm not going to be sitting there watching a video most of the time because of it.
Mhm.
I I take about an hour on Sunday to watch Outlander because that's when they've been posting it. I will sit here with, I've got a set of wireless earbuds.
Mhm.
I'll sit here with these in when I'm up in the middle of the night because I can't sleep. I will sit here and have these in for watching like fairy tale or, whatever on YouTube because I can't sleep. Because, you know, there might be, Joe might be in my bed asleep, or Angel might have come up and decided to go into my bed and sleep because Joe's over in his room, or, whatever. I'm not always able to have sound and light and such, even in my own room, because there's people in and out that I have to keep in mind. Well, they're over there asleep. I mean, yeah, Angel's got a bed of her own, but mommy's is more comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah, she's 18, but mommy's is more comfortable, and mommy's
Oh
not
yeah.
using it. So,
That's understandable. Okay. Um. Okay. I guess let's wrap up. And is there anything you would like to add about you, your goals, what you want to accomplish that we haven't covered?
Well, I did notice, and I'm not sure if you've got it in the comments. If not, I can post it. Um,
Yes.
I did notice that you did not, in the interview questions, list my TikTok, and I have
No,
been.
that's one of the things that I'd asked you to add if I didn't have any links I'm missing.
Well, um,
If you will
I
please
have
add it.
been. Yes, I have been doing poetry readings on my TikTok, quite a lot of them. Um, so it's
I haven't been able to get
definitely
up.
something that anybody who is interested in my poems would want to check
Oh
out.
yeah. Thank you.
So, uh-huh.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank you
geez,
for
I've got
coming.
my hair staring up.
You are always wonderful to talk with, and I have enjoyed learning more about you, and I hope everybody else has too. And Ron Bradford, I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right, had said that they enjoyed the video before they had to go.
Nice.
And
Yeah, she's one of
um,
our writers. She's next year going to be releasing a book. I am not even going to try and pronounce the title of her book because it is very unique.
okay, we will
Eod.
find out about
Yes.
that.
Yeah, I really need to get her to give us a way of pronunciating that.
And I will definitely share it on this page. Most definitely. Okay. You have been a treat. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you all for coming to our interview, and I hope you have enjoyed Patty as much as I have. Please check out her poetry, check out her children's books. I can honestly say my children love her children's books, so I hope yours do too. I have loved her poetry. Yes, there are poems that will make you cry and make you want to hug her and tell her that you have loved it. And I hope you guys and you, Miss Patty, have a wonderful day. Thank you for coming.